I'm Mark Dolan and I hope you're well. Now, this is going to sound crazy, but sometimes I think the fall of the West cannot come too soon. Maybe we should just hand over the keys of the country to Vladimir Putin and let him do his worst. I jest, of course, but I could scarcely believe this story when it popped in my inbox this morning. The excellent and fearless Daily Telegraph newspaper report that ministers are going ahead with the truly insane, suicidal idea of using electric vehicles for combat on the battlefield, despite clear warnings from military chiefs that they could cost the lives of members of the armed forces. Now, this is the pursuit of net zero gone mad. According to the paper, the Ministry of Defence, who now have, by the way, more diversity officers than bloody soldiers, will be ramping up testing of battlefield EVs. There's actually talk about building a network of charging points in the field of war. You couldn't make it up. The Taliban, ISIS, Russia, Iran, China, they must be quaking in their boots. Just imagine a British army tank rolls into Aleppo, only to run out of juice because they left the aircon on and killed the battery. This story would be funny if it wasn't a matter of national security, and that's the problem. The idea that you would try to make the military environmentally friendly is so absurd and so stupid as to be some kind of sick dystopian joke. Here's the truth. War is destructive. Yes, it's not very nice, folks. It kills people. It destroys the environment. There is smoke. There is fire. There is debris, there is rubble, everything gets broken. That's the whole idea. We've got to break more of their stuff than they break of ours. Isn't it amazing that I've got to explain how war works to so-called military experts? Trying to make war environmentally friendly is the best example, if you needed it, of how Western societies have truly lost their way and been captured by woke ideology. This ideological capture could lead to our capture as international bad actors in Moscow, Beijing and Tehran plot our downfall. And do you know how they're going to do that? Do you know what equipment they'll have? They will have military vehicles powered by, wait for it, petrol and diesel engines. Meanwhile, we're trying to save the world in a Toyota Prius. Make it make sense. Now, these military chiefs are paid a lot of money from the taxpayer to come up with truly dreadful ideas which imperil all of us. These are the same military chiefs who have thrown merit out of the window by hiring people based on their sexual orientation, the gender by which they identify this morning, and the colour of their skin. The head of recruitment at the Royal Air Force bravely quit her role in 2022 when she was under pressure to pause the hiring of white pilots in order to hit diversity targets, which, quite rightly, she considered to be illegal. And here's the thing. Do you really want someone flying a plane in the field of battle that is a diversity hire rather than the best person for the job? Well, it gets worse, because it's been revealed this week that Britain's intelligence services have launched a summer internship from which white British students are banned from applying. MI5, MI6 and GCHQ, who are there to keep this country safe, both at home and abroad, appear to be unsafe for anyone that's got the wrong skin colour. In this case, the woke Taliban's most hated cohort, white people. I've got to say, this internship sounds amazing. It's a huge opportunity, representing, and I quote, the first steps towards an exciting full-time career. So interns, by the way, no whites please, will not just be sitting on the sidelines. They will have the opportunity to get unique access to operations, gain experience, and make key contributions to real projects. Now, this 10-week opportunity is only open to students from Black, Asian, mixed heritage, or ethnic minority backgrounds. How is that allowed? How is that possible? Is this not abject, copper-bottomed racism? It can't be justified. Clearly not. Now, it does include one provision which looks excellent, welcoming those from a socially or economically disadvantaged background. Isn't that great? Who would disagree with that? Well, the only problem is it excludes poor white people. I'm not making this up. It's extraordinary. What is the idea here? That these white kids may come from grinding poverty and degradation, but they still somehow got white privilege. Now, there are several things to unpick here. First of all, is it not terrifying that these security services have a culture which looks to be moving away from merit? You have to think, don't you, that Vladimir Putin is chuckling into his glass of Stolichnaya vodka as he observes Britain's suicidal commitment to diversity at all costs. Now, here's the thing. I believe in diversity, a diversity of views, a diversity of talents, a diversity of backgrounds, a diversity of religions, races and gender orientation. Absolutely. Mix it up, baby. Bring it on. But this increasingly pathetic country seems to be indulged now in a race to the bottom, with a focus on skin colour rather than equal opportunity, and the now blasphemous idea that you should have the best person for the job. Of course, saying that, pushing for the best person for the job, will now get you cancelled. And that's why the West is going down. That's right, folks. The fall of the West is imminent. Bring popcorn. And here's the thing. If you want to play the race card, perhaps I could draw your attention to the dreadful outcomes of poor white boys in our society, who, for example, perform worst at school and are the one group least likely to go to university. Now, don't get me wrong, huge efforts must be taken to encourage people of all backgrounds to take the opportunities that are out there so they can contribute to our country. Absolutely. There are industries that are underrepresented, and let's address that by creating opportunities. The way you don't do it is by pitting one group of people who have immutable characteristics, such as skin colour, against another. When did the so-called progressive left, who are driving this nonsense, give up pursuing the idea of opportunity for all? And by the way, talking about these security services, what about James Bond? Hey, poor old James Bond wouldn't have made it through the first round these days, would he? Because if he was real, England's greatest fictional spy wouldn't tick any boxes, apart from being cunning, brave, resourceful, and the best in the world. Forget about Goldfinger, folks. I'd like to give these woke, racist bureaucrats the middle finger. Why? Because even James Bond would be cancelled by MI5, MI6, and GCHQ because of the colour of his skin. So whether it's a war on merit, the ludicrous idea of EV charging points in the battlefield, and the pursuit of diversity over defence, the military, which is supposedly there to protect us and keep us safe, is threatening our very existence. What do you think the great wartime leader Sir Winston Churchill would have made of charging EV points in the battlefield? His answer would have been unbroadcastable on a family show. Now, if a company like Ben & Jerry's, which is an ice cream company, if they go woke, it's just a bit annoying and hypocritical. But when the armed forces go woke, they are playing with our lives and the lives of our heroic servicemen and women. The armed forces are there to protect us, but right now they're embarked on a war on common sense. Meanwhile, our enemies are laughing and taking notes.